Good morning YouTube, it's your gorgeous sexy G-Love here, coming at you from a bright yet cold cemetery somewhere in the southwest of the UK. The time is 10 past 10 on Tuesday, April 21st, 2026, and this is day 130 of my shit to fit transformation from an overfed and essentially invisible 204 to a buffed up and head turning 185 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. I will try and keep these updates brief, so do like, subscribe, and stick around for the cheesy outro. So, I previously lost 10.5 pounds of body fat in 72 days, and I'm now lean gaining until May the 11th to wash away diet fatigue, repair connective tissues, and also regain any lost strength and muscle. I hit the sack last night at about 10:30 for 8.5 hours of good sleep. Woke up this morning, weighed myself first thing, my weight came in at 195.75 pounds, and that gives me an increased 7-day rolling average of 194.45, around there. So I believe we might be up to about 16.2% body fat. Okay, slight correction, calculated 16.16%, although in reality it's probably a little bit lower than that, maybe 16 to 16.1. We are going to be retaining quite a lot of water. Yesterday I had very, very high fatigue and felt quite weary and old. However, today I feel much, much better. I would say fatigue is at a medium level and aches and pains are kind of low to medium. So yeah, lots and lots of food yesterday. It goes to show that even if we think we're at maintenance, if we are in a state of high fatigue and we're recovering from workouts, we're actually below, and our body can probably chew through 200 or 300 calories in just repairing and building muscle. So yes, yesterday's food was I think over 5,300 calories. Today's will be slightly lower, about 5,250, and I'll be continuing in the same vein for the rest of the week. I might also continue the very, very high food intake into the deload by a couple of days, but I'll see how we feel. So we are now down to 20 days remaining until I cut my calories back. I've got one heavy workout today, and on Friday and Sunday this week, I have the two very heavy workouts as well. After I finish these 3 workouts, I'll be deloading and then switching exercises and building up to a medium intensity before I drop calories. I could have probably started my cut a week earlier by dropping calories straight away, but to build up from a deload to working sets and reps and weights in a calorie deficit is not a good idea. So I will build up first, take my time, and let patience be my superpower. So it turns out that most of the food that I put into my body would have existed, I'd say 90% of it, would have existed 100 years ago. But there is still a 10% of convenience. The protein powder that I have, which is highly processed, but fairly clean, I think. And also I eat a fruit loaf, which is like kind of halfway between a cake and bread. It's a very, very tasty, easy to eat processed food, which is readily available and doesn't really spoil. So I eat that as well. I would say 10% of my calories still do come from things which wouldn't have been around, you know, even 50 years ago. So yeah, also, it kind of feels like healthy, wholesome food, which actually nourishes our bodies, is getting more and more expensive, harder to find, and supply is getting harder to regulate. And it also feels like processed, poisonous crap that tastes amazing is getting cheaper and cheaper every year. Plus, human beings tend to naturally drift towards decisions which benefit them in the short term and benefit them economically in the short term as well. And yes, by eating the food which is readily available and everyone else eats, we're basically making ourselves less intelligent, poorer, look worse, feel worse, worse decision making, making it easier to fall into addictions, depression, anxiety, high blood pressure, cancer, literally the stuff that people are eating. Modern society is clearly a disease, and to actually eat food that makes you feel amazing, that can actually make you feel as if you're getting younger every year, not older, is becoming increasingly expensive. So I think moving forward, I will be keeping a stockpile of these foods, because they're going to become even more difficult to get hold of and much, much more expensive. I wouldn't say that by any means I'm rich. I am comfortably well off. 7 or 8 years ago, I was completely broke on my arse and no one gave a shit. And I realised the cavalry wasn't coming, but I've picked myself up and I'm now in a very, very comfortable position financially, and the future's looking really bright. And the only thing I need to take care of now really is making sure that I stay fit and healthy. Yeah, one quick extra thought before I let you guys go. Over the past probably 3, 4, 5 months, I've been eating really, really, really healthily. And I can honestly say, I actually feel better and younger and more vibrant now than I did 5 years ago. It just goes to show probably 50% of how we look and feel comes down to the food we put into our bodies. And moving forward with this fuel supply and fertilizer shock that's coming, and also with the fact that our fish stocks are quite low, one of the staple foods that I eat every single, not every day, but every 3 to 4 days, I have 2 cans of sardines, and I only eat them in tomato sauce or in spring water or in brine. I avoid the one that comes with the sunflower oil because I want to try and exclude most of the seed oils from my diet. So yes, this is one item which in the supermarkets does fluctuate in price and isn't always available. And I'm really, really mindful of the fact that this is one of the few foods that I eat that has a massive impact on how I feel. So today, before work, after the gym, I'm going to visit 2 large supermarkets and try and stock up. I'm looking to create a stockpile of 2 to 3 months worth of this fish. And that way, if there is a complete supply fail with the fish, I can use my stockpile, and obviously I'll rotate through it as well. And yes, I think that plus also there's a cheap rice that I buy, long grain rice, which is 52p for a kilo. That is sometimes in short supply, and if I can't get hold of it, I've got to buy the own brand version, which is twice the price. So I might also build up a stockpile of that as well. So yeah, it's not exactly a doomsday situation. However, people think that even if the straits are reopened, that this problem's over. But actually what we've done is we've created a delayed shock of an energy shortage. So yes, this will be getting worse before it gets better either way. But what we can do is we can plan ahead and insulate our lives from what goes on thousands of miles away with people that believe in things that we don't. So yeah, I think we will leave it there. As usual, I will put a link on the top right of the screen, which will take you back to December 11th, 2025, and my chubby little face at the start of this journey. That link will be right here. Otherwise, do sit tight and wait around for day 131. That's awesome. Thanks, guys, and roll the outro.